You will have heard by now about the 2 patients that died last week in Worcester on trolleys waiting to be admitted from A&E. So I want to talk about NHS funding, because that is the root of the problem. NHS funding is not a lump sum given to a hospital to run themselves. It's handled by a clinical commissioning group, which came in with the coalition government. Didn't used to have them. But now we have clinical commissioning groups, CCGs, and they have in their hands the actual NHS budget. And they make a contract with every hospital trust, agreeing how much they will pay them to perform healthcare. But the thing is, the CCG tariff never actually covers the cost of the treatment. So you find yourself as a hospital in a situation where every hip that you repair, so every time someone falls down and break their hip, and they come in and you give them a replacement hip, or you put a pin in, every time you do that, the CCG will pay you 70% of the actual cost. And you're supposed to find the rest from what are called efficiency savings, which means your arse. But it gets even better. Not only does the CCG tariff never cover the cost of the treatment, so the hospitals are constantly running as hard as they can and falling behind because what they're being given for the work they're doing does not cover it. Not only that, but the CCG sets a quota for how many of a given treatment they will pay for. And after that, it's back to find it from your arse money. This kind of makes sense in manufacturing. It makes a lot of sense in manufacturing, let's face it. If I have a deal with you that I want you to make me 3,000 hats, and you actually make 3,500 hats, I'm not going to pay you for the extra 500 hats. But if you're a hospital, and I have a deal with you that I will pay you to fix 3,000 broken hips, and you actually fix 3,500 broken hips, then it is ludicrous to say that you, the hospital, should have turned away the last 500 broken hips who came to A&E because we weren't going to pay you for them. It's beyond your quota. It is absurd to set hospitals' funding quotas for care that is responsive to patient need. That's fundamentally how the NHS works. The people come in, they're sick, the NHS treats them. When you set a quota beyond which you will not pay for the care, you are guaranteeing that something outside of the hospital's control will force it to go over budget, because that person with the broken hip is still there in A&E and they are going to die if you don't fix their hip. It's not guaranteed, but pretty much with hips, it's surgical intervention or you never walk again. But the CCG, who hold the purse strings, won't pay for it, because it's your 3,001st patient with a broken hip this year. There is no rational explanation for why you would handle funding this way for a national healthcare system that is supposed to treat everyone who comes through the door. Except that you are trying, deliberately, to starve it of funds in a sufficiently deniable way that when you sell it off and privatise it, you can claim that it's because the private sector would do a better job of running it.